Hello again, you're with Bloomberg UTV, and right now Biocon is announcing their results. They have a simulcast happening at this point in time. Let's cut in.
At the Biocon standalone level of 30%. Other than that, of course, we have delivered very strong growth at the top line, 47%, which includes, of course, the Axicorp business, which is really a top-line revenue generator. But even on Biocon, standalone numbers, we have also still managed to deliver 21% top-line growth. I'm very pleased to see that we have actually delivered this growth across all businesses. Our research services businesses have also grown very robustly and have at last started showing strong profitability and profit growth, which up till now has been a sort of a gestational phase in terms of the investments made. And as you can see, the business is now beginning to deliver the both at the top and bottom lines. So this is a very strong quarter for us. In fact, it's one of the strongest quarters to date. And what is also important for me to highlight here is the fact that we have, at a revenue level, we have actually surpassed the 12-month, last fiscal numbers. So this actually tells you about how we are growing.
All right. Also, we've seen that there's a new oral insulin drug that you're sort of testing out with the US FDA. Any comments you can share with us on that?
Well, what is important in terms of an achievement here is the fact that we have filed a US IND, which means that now we can start initiating global development of this particular molecule. Concept trials are still, undergoing the trials, and this is something that will be completed towards the middle of the year. But simultaneously, we will be commencing some other development trials, which we will do under the US IND.
Right. We are also talking about a BMS contract for both Syngene and Syngene. Any comments you can share with us on that? How's it really working for your contract?
Well, BMS has been the strongest client for us in our research services business. But having said that, we are also in the process. We've actually added on, another important large customer to Syngene, and we expect to actually add on 2 more large customers. So this is a business that is going to expand and grow very, very steadily and robustly, given the large client base we are beginning to garner.
The Amylaxin Pharma exclusive agreement? The Amylin Pharma, sorry.
Yeah, the Amylin research partnership that we have is a very interesting partnership. This is a risk-sharing and cost-sharing partnership to expand our novel program pipeline. And here, of course, Amylin is a very, very important partner for us, given the fact that they are very well recognized in discovery research in the area of diabetes. Given Biocon's strong focus on diabetes, we believe that this partnership is extremely important at this point in time. You can see that we have a very balanced approach to research between both biosimilars or generics and novel programs. So these are important times for us.
Ma'am, you had a small acquisition recently. Can you tell us a little more about what that was for and how you've added to production capacities?
Yes, Ideal was an acquisition that we made really from a manufacturing asset point of view. This was a decision that was made in context of the company's need for expanding its API manufacturing capacity. And there was a real opportunity for us to really decide between a greenfields approach or an acquisition approach, and we chose the acquisition route because we believed that that would give us a much faster time to market kind of strategy. And this is a facility that we bought which immediately allows us to ramp up our capacity of APIs.
Ma'am, so will you be looking at the acquisition route to expand manufacturing capacity in the future also?
Yes, I think certainly we are looking at acquisitions in many, many ways. One of the areas we are looking at is in terms of our own formulations business. So that also could look at that also could be an acquisition opportunity for us. Manufacturing will always have an interest for us in terms of acquisition. And other than that, we've also made the acquisition of Axicorp last year, which was really about expanding our marketing and distribution footprint in Europe.
If I could come to that specifically, you did touch upon that very briefly, but can you tell us what is really the plan there? What's the kind of growth? Could give us details of that? Yes.
Well, Axicorp has been a top-line business so far, and this is what we expect it to be for the foreseeable future, because we actually expect Axicorp to get into a high-margin business once we launch our insulins in Germany. So this is the approach we've taken, and I'm pleased to say that Axicorp also has delivered some good profits. Although in terms of margin it's much lower than Biocon's traditional margins, but nevertheless, even with the Axicorp business, we have still been able to deliver 20+% margins.
Ma'am, also your generic human insulin, we understand, will be tested sometime by 2011. Any details?
Insulin is in the process of being developed and registered for Europe. We are in the process of completing phase 1 PK/PD trials, and then we will quickly move into phase 3 trials. So we are on track in terms of doing all of that. The regulatory process is far longer than what we originally anticipated, and that's why we are now saying that instead of 2011, it looks more like 2012.
Okay. We understand you've tied up with a US partner for this, so
it's the same situation, but I think Europe is an earlier opportunity for us than the US is.
But when will you look at the US then? When is that?
Well, as soon as the regulatory path opens up in the US, we will obviously go for that. But right now, the clarity of the regulatory path in Europe is far better understood.
Ma'am, you were telling us that you are expecting newer client additions for Syngene. Could you tell us how big these contracts could be, in the range?
These are sizable contracts which are coming from really global pharma majors, and these are going to be in the order of the BMS kind of contracts that we have. So they are at this point in time not as large as the BMS contract, but they are getting to those levels.
Right, so that's Kiran Mazumdar, Chairman and Managing Director. As far as Biocon Industries, their third quarter results are out. Net sales are up 45.6% at 635 crore rupees versus the 436 crore rupees. Their PAT is up 186% at 81 crore rupees. Kiran Mazumdar Shaw in that simulcast. Of course, they're looking at one of the strongest quarters today. That's what Kiran Mazumdar Shaw is saying. And also, the research services are showing strong profitability. That's the word that's coming out on Biocon. But meanwhile, on the Nifty, 17,377 on the Sensex. We'll be back with more on the flip side with all the earnings numbers that are coming in. Stay with us.